Hello everyone. I thought I would start a series which I've been wanting to start for a little while, which is showing off all my collections, because I have quite a lot of stuff. So I thought I'd start off with my handhelds and work through in a fairly chronological order when they came out. And so first off I'm doing Game Boy. And so I have my systems first off. I have a Game Boy Original, which I got in a big deal recently with a guy. He sold me loads of Game Gear games and a Neo Geo Pocket, which I'll show you shortly. And he sold because I bought so much, he just threw it in for free with a game. And I also have my original Game Boy Color from when I was a child, and it still has the back compartment and batteries. But yeah, so those are my two systems. Next up, I thought I would show my accessories, and I haven't really got that many at the moment. I think I got rid of most of them because they were third party, and I'm not really interested in third party accessories. But the thing I do have is I have just a mains plug for the Game Boy. I'm pretty sure it's the Game Boy Color, and I thought it was quite cool because it has the the D-pad and buttons on, which is quite cool. I also have a Blaze Exploder Game Boy cheat cartridge, which I've had since back in the day, and it's quite good. It's served me well. Haven't actually used that much because I've never been much of a cheater on games, but it's been good to have. Next up are my boxed Game Boy games. I have Aladdin, Kung Fu Master, Pokemon Blue, and Superman. And I'll open them up and show you what's inside them now. So first off we have Aladdin, which as you can see from the front of the box is the American version, and it came with a Nintendo Power leaflet and subscription form, a poster about Game Boy games which also has SNES games on it, a precautions leaflet, the manual, and the actual game. But although it's American, the Game Boy was region free as far as I'm aware, and it plays on my Game Boy, so it's fine. I was a little bit annoyed though because the person I bought it off didn't tell me it was American, and I reckon that some people out there wouldn't have bought it if they'd known that, so obviously that bumped up the price. But after I told them, they gave me a little bit of money back on it, which is something I've done a lot with Game Boy games because people really don't tell you the whole truth with them. Next up is Kung Fu Master, and that, while unlike Aladdin, which didn't come with a tray, it was just the box and all the stuff, it came with a plastic insert and the actual game, and then another Nintendo Power leaflet, a poster, which I'll open up. Here's the poster that came with Kung Fu Master, and as you can see, although they put the box art on a poster so you can put it on your wall, but they added an R-type advertisement at the bottom so that you'll see that and want to buy it. But I'm pretty sure that that is not a screenshot from the game, because that has nice shiny graphics and doesn't look very blocky, so that can't be the actual game. But I'll show you against the actual cartridge. This poster isn't actually that big. It's not like a full-size one, it's just it's A4 size. It also came with the instruction manual, which for some reason is purple. It's got like purple bits everywhere, which is a bit strange. And the actual game. But yet again, you can't really see that, but it says there it's from the USA. So that's how I knew, and I was a bit annoyed about that as well. So I talked to the guy, and he gave me a little bit of money back for that, because I think either that or just an apology. But next up I have Pokemon Blue, which is the English version, and I had a copy of Pokemon Blue already, but one of my friends, he didn't want his anymore. It was like 2005, so it wasn't like right after it was fashionable. He had it like in his cupboard for ages, and he just said he didn't want it anymore, so he just gave it to me, and he had the box and the manual. Unfortunately it's missing the front cover, So like, and it's a bit damaged on the spine. The page is a bit ripped, but I have 2 copies of the game, and I can't remember where the other one is. But as you can see, well, you can't. But that says EUR. This is the European version. Yet again, doesn't have the insert on the inside, so it's just an empty shell and a manual. And lastly, I have Superman, which does have the insert. It's one of that and Kung Fu Master are the 2 games that do have the insert, although it's a bit damaged. Doesn't really keep the game in very well, and it's in almost as bad condition as not actually having it, but it's always good to have it. So, and this was the English version, and it just came with a precautions booklet and the manual, which is all black and white and multi-language like most European manuals. But when I bought this, I got it on eBay for £4.20, and they didn't mention, there were some stickers, and there was a sticker there and a sticker there and a sticker on the back, which I haven't been able to get off very well, and they didn't mention that. And £4.20, I got loads of these for like £1 with free postage, which is actually cheaper than it is to send them. But that one was quite expensive because it was Superman. So I sent them an email saying, well, this isn't good enough, because if you hadn't done that, then people wouldn't have been willing to bid as much, and then I wouldn't have had to pay so much. So they said, yeah, that's fine. So they gave me a full refund and let me keep the game. So I got a free copy of Superman. So all's forgiven. But yeah, those are my 4 boxed Game Boy games. Next, I have one Game Boy game which isn't boxed but does have the manual, and that is Wario Blast, which I got the other day for £1, as you can see in one of my previous videos. And I was quite happy to get that, although I found out that it's the USA copy, which I don't really mind, because over here I actually have the UK version. So and the only difference there is that this one has a kids to adults rating, and the Super Game Boy logo is different, but other than that it looks exactly the same, except my UK version's in worse condition. But that is a really good game. I love that. I've had that since I was like 5 or so, so I was more than happy to pick up a second copy, and it's such a brilliant game. But I also have 2 manuals for Game Boy games, which I mentioned in the previous video. I got with Tom and Jerry the Movie on Master System, just randomly tucked in there, which is Bubble Ghost and Paperboy, and I do actually have a copy of Paperboy, if I can just get it out. So unfortunately this is the US version, which means that the manual doesn't actually go with it, but still, Paperboy, and I already had the actual game for it, so those are my 2 manuals. Next up, I have my loose Game Boy games. These are Game Boy and some games that work on both Game Boy and Game Boy Color, but I have Bart Simpson Escape from Camp Deadly, Double Dragon, Game Boy Gallery, Mega Man 2, Mickey's Dangerous Chase, Paperboy, which I've had since I got my Game Boy in like 1996 or so, Quest for Camelot, which I got free with the Game Boy, R-Type, R-Type DX, Super Mario Land in quite bad condition, Super Mario Land 2, Tennis, which I got the other day with some DS games, Tetris DX, Wario Blast, and a second copy of Wario Blast. So those are my Game Boy original games.